I'm Dr. Bob Grakowski. Welcome back to the Better Brain Academy. Today we're going to continue on reviewing your brain span test. Today's focus is on our sustained attention. This is a big problem in our society. We are a distracted society. Most people are so focused on their cell phone or other things that they can't sustain their attention for a long period of time. Now, there are a lot of reasons for that, which I'm going to go into. This is our eating module, so we want to talk about what are certain nutrients that we need to make sure that our brain can sustain attention. So there's two parts of the brain that really are affected. The front part of our brain is our executive level of our brain. That's our human factor. That's where we can have selectivity as far as what we focus in on. It allows us to future pace forward and not just be in the moment. It also has to do with a part of our brain called our reticular activating system. That means that what are we focusing on? There are over 60,000 thoughts that cross our mind on a daily basis. And what they say is those same thoughts keep crossing over and over again each day. Our brain can literally take about 50 of those on a daily basis and try and put attention to it. So not only setting up your day so that you're scheduling your priorities is a good thing to get your brain focused in on what's most important, but sometimes we just can't do that. If your sustained attention was low, there might be some biochemical problems that are going on inside the brain. So there's several factors that we want to look at. Obviously, so far we've talked about getting our blood biomarkers in balance. Our omega-3, omega-6 ratio is critical. If the cell membrane is not allowing our blood sugar to be properly balanced, or that certain nutrients, proteins, and minerals to get into the cell and toxins to get out, then that's going to affect your overall brain activity. So you want to obviously start there, but there's some other things that are important. If we look at the way that we are farming and producing mass amounts of vegetables and getting them brought in from other countries, there is a low amount of certain minerals in the foods that we eat. Now, magnesium is probably one of the most important things that you need to make sure for your focused attention. On your brain span test, it may have said something about zinc or magnesium or certain proteins. We're going to talk about that a little bit further. So magnesium is very important it's a bridge in one step to allow your food to become energy in the ATP cycle, the Krebs cycle. So magnesium needs to come into a certain point, and it's a carrier molecule. If we don't have magnesium in there and if there's too much calcium, you actually have more stiffening and more calcification of certain parts of the body and the brain. They're finding that some of these proteins in that perforant pathway that have to do with your memory are because there's a magnesium-calcium imbalance. On a blood test, it should typically be 1-to-1. And studies that are showing now that it's running about 10-to-1. And that disrupts a lot of biochemical functions. It affects your digestion. It affects the neurotransmitters. It affects the ability to actually have the cells function like they're supposed to. So supplementation of magnesium, from what we're seeing, is very important to make sure that we have some of these processes take place properly in the body. Now, one of the things that you might notice outside of maybe problems with attention is your sleep will be disrupted. If you don't have enough magnesium in the body, your sleep will be, you maybe have a hard time getting to sleep, or you go to sleep and you wake up, you can't get back to sleep. So supplementation of magnesium in the morning and at night is very important, because what it does is it allows our brain chemistry to be regulated and allows those neurotransmitters to be made so that our blood chemistry is in better balance. So magnesium is a good thing that you may want to supplement if some of these factors are low on your sustained attention test on the brain span. The other thing that's important is about 4 milligrams per pound of body weight is what you should be supplementing. So sometimes it's way too low, and so if you're supplementing, magnesium malate is the best source of magnesium. It's the best absorbed and best used in the body. And it also, if it's 4 milligrams per pound of body weight, for example, if you're 150 pounds, that should be about 600 milligrams of supplementation a day. 300 in the morning, 300 at night. If you're 200 pounds, it's 200, or it would be about 800, meaning it's 4 milligrams per pound of body weight. So kids are another thing. If their magnesium is low, they have a hard time sitting in class. They have a hard time focusing. They have a hard time making these neurotransmitters. So that's something that you might want to add. You can get some of these in a liquid form so kids can drink them before they go to sleep, and they'll actually sleep better. I've seen that not only with my own kids but my grandkids. The other factor is zinc. Zinc is another important mineral, and sometimes these minerals can be, like you say, purchased in a liquid form. Zinc is important in not only blood sugar but melatonin, which is your sleep hormone. It regulates your sleep cycles and your daily cycles. We'll be talking more about phasing and sleep cycles and circadian rhythms as far as our nutrition in future videos, but you want to look at making sure that you're getting enough of the minerals into your body on a daily basis. If you're not getting enough zinc or magnesium and your sleep cycle's off, then it's going to affect you. The other thing with your sleep cycle is if you have a lot of the blue light from your phone or an iPad or a reader or television coming to you late at night, it disrupts the melatonin production and your sleep will be off. It's harder to get to sleep. If you're not sleeping, your sustained attention is going to be lower. So you need to make sure that you're putting enough time into making sure that you are preparing for rest, preparing to sleep. The other thing is making sure you're getting enough good proteins. Proteins are the building blocks for their neurotransmitters. So always want to do grass-fed or free range, because corn-fed, you're getting the corn into the animal. It creates a problem with the proteins. There is not a protein called tryptophan in corn, and tryptophan is the precursor for a brain transmitter called serotonin. So if you're eating a lot of corn products, or you have corn-fed beef, or things that are fed corn, or high fructose corn syrup, those can disrupt the neurotransmitters. Especially if you're having problems with sustained attention, really look at reducing corn. It does not have the tryptophan or the magnesium, which allows your brain chemistry to be off. Another factor are dairy products. So if a person is having a hard time sleeping or focusing, one of the first things you want to do is look at getting them off of dairy. Dairy, there are certain proteins called caseins. They cross the blood-brain barrier, and they can cause hyperactivity and inflammation inside the brain, especially young children. I know we may have been raised that you drink milk in the morning because milk builds strong bones, but the calcium that's in the milk and dairy products is very low absorbed, and that's a lot of good marketing by the dairy industry. So it's the proteins that these caseins that cross the blood-brain barrier that create hyperactivity and problems with our neurotransmitters. So you want to make sure that you're looking at those. If all your factors are in good range, your body may be able to handle that. But if they're not, then you need to make sure that you're making some of those changes. Having your blood tested, making sure you're looking at your omega-3, omega-6 ratios, your trans fats, how you're handling sugars, and then all your cognitive tests is one of the best things you can do. And if you have a test, you want to make sure that you retest it to see that the changes that you're making in your lifestyle are actually making changes in your overall brain health. So it's important to really look at this again to make sure that your body is in good balance. The other factor as a chiropractor obviously is your brain posture. So your forward head posture dramatically takes information from this part of the brain and puts it back here. So it's taking it away from that prefrontal cortex, and it actually creates this problem. You can actually see where you get problems here. When you bring and change your posture, your attention becomes better. Your physiology, the more you slump, the more down you are, the more you open up, the better off you are. So you want to make sure that you're sleeping in good postures, that you're looking at practicing good posture. All of those are factors to have better sustained attention. I want to make changes in your overall health, starting with your brain. So if some of these factors were low in your brain span test, add some magnesium, potentially some zinc, maybe some cinnamon for your blood sugar regulation. Make sure you're getting proper proteins, but your blood biomarkers, which we've talked about before, for your omega-3s, omega-6, that is critical for your attention. These are just some extra tips to continue to make changes in your overall brain health. I look forward to talking to you more. Next few videos we'll be talking more about our gut health and how our gut health affects the brain transmitters and our sustained attention also. So have a great rest of your day.